every day that He gives us, He knows exactly what we're going to deal with. He knows every phone call we're going to receive, every text message. He knows every word that's going to be said, whether it's out of kindness, whether it's out of hatred. He knows every one of them. He knows everything that's going to go on at your job. He knows everything that's going to go on after your job. He knows everything about everyone every day. And I think a lot of times He puts things in our life just to see how we'll react. Will we complain and fuss? Or will we just say, God, thank you? Whatever it is. Because truly, it doesn't matter. I can promise you, the moment we lay down this walk of life, nothing that we thought was important is going to matter. Except that one moment, one time, we called out on the name of the Lord, and He heard our prayer, and He gave us a peace that passes all understanding. Something else on something's heart this morning before we change over to the surface. I appreciate everyone following the Lord this morning. I want to read one verse of Scripture and ask you to turn with us. Matthew chapter 4, verse 19. It should be very familiar to a lot of people here. It wasn't very long ago that this was the theme of our vacation Bible school. Excuse me. Has allowed me to spend the last several weeks really looking at this verse and what it entails. And I'm not going to get into everything that the Lord has laid upon our heart. I believe that it will be eventually. But today I just want to look at this one verse, 19th verse of the 4th chapter of Matthew. And He saith unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And I want to look at those two words, follow me. We all, whether we want to admit it or not, we have somebody that we follow. It might not be on social media. It might not be in this. It might be someone that's a writer. Back in the day, I know that there's a lot of people that would follow a certain editor because, we didn't have cell phones and all the things that was digital. We had newspapers, and we would follow what one person would say. Every week, we would read that report. Might not read nothing else. You might have followed the funny pages or something of that nature. You might have someone on TV that you would watch on a religious basis. You would follow after that. And what we are talking about is that it's our nature to have something in our life that we kind of try to imitate in one way or another. Now, it could be anything from cooking shows. I know we like to watch a lot of the cooking shows and get ideas and things of that nature. And whether it be home improvement, whatever it is, there's always the innate a desire within us to follow after what somebody else has done. We see something that somebody has done and we think, man, that's a great idea, and so we tried. I can't remember the app or the website, but when we were in Georgia, I found it. I think it's Pinterest. And I spent more money trying to do projects that I had no idea what I was doing because I thought, man, that looks cool. And when I'd get done with it, it wouldn't look nothing like what they showed on the picture. Because one, I probably didn't follow the directions the way that I needed to, the way that I was supposed to. And two, I just had no business doing some of the things, building some of the things that I built. I'm not a carpenter, never have been. Don't know why I thought I could be. But when we think of following, who else better to follow than Jesus? I mean, who else to emulate in our life than the Lord? We all talk about we want to do better, we want to be this, and here is the perfect man. In every shape, form, and fashion, He was perfect. He was God, but yet He was man, and in that He blended those two together in such a way that you could not tell one from the other, even though you were standing in front of Him. When He would raise the dead, you still saw the man, but yet you could experience and witness the power of God. Who else better to follow than the one that has the ability to do all things whatsoever? When Jesus was speaking here to his disciples, or at this point he had called Simon and Andrew, or Peter and Andrew, and we'll find in just a moment he's going to go to the sons of Zebedee, James and John, and these are the first four that he really calls, and they begin to follow him. But one of the aspects, and I'll just go on and kind of give you a precursor of what the Lord has laid upon our heart, and don't know how we're going to get it all in, but we'll let the Lord take care of it. But what is it truly to be a disciple of Christ, to be a follower of Christ? We look in the Gospel of John in the 6th chapter, there were many things that the Lord said. After that, He had fed the 5,000, He had walked on water, He had talked about being the bread of life, and He spoke all of these things. And He began to speak to His disciples, and it says, His disciples. And they considered these things hard saying, and many departed from Him and followed Him no more. Because I believe they understood what it really meant to be a disciple of the Lord. Being saved is not being a disciple. It's just like not being a Christian. You can be saved and not be Christ-like. Now, you'll suffer in this life for doing that, but I'm telling you, it happens. We see it, we know it, we understand it. I believe that there's an innate desire in most people, but my friends, to be a disciple of Christ, to follow Him, means the giving up of absolutely everything. Not just part of it, but every bit of it. I want to read a definition, the two definitions of disciple. It's believers in Christ with a lifestyle specifically modeled after Jesus. And then the second one, it is a commitment to a new way of life. Not an old way, but a new way. Now, when we look at these men, and when Jesus said, follow me, what did they do? They left everything. They forsook their livelihood. They forsook their ambitions. They forsook their families and followed after the Lord. We don't know how old these men were. We don't know exactly the age of the other disciples that He would eventually call, and those 70 that would eventually be sent out. But we understand that no doubt there was a difference in a range of age, and a range of abilities, and a range of professions, and whatever it was. Some was married, some may have not been, but yet we find in the Scriptures, when we go over to the 10th chapter of Matthew, and we'll not get a whole lot in that today, but in the 10th chapter of Matthew, He tells them all of the things that they would endure. And when He goes through them, they understand the real cost of discipleship is to lay down my will, and God, let your will be done. And folks, I'm telling you, you'll not be happy in this life until we, as the children of God, let God have His way in our life. Until you put Jesus first, you'll never be content. Because you'll always be wanting something else that you can have and that will not satisfy. These men were fishers of men, and I'm sure they were very good at their trade. I am positive they were very capable of being able to do the things that they were required to do and that they were taught to do. But yet we see the Lord tells them, I'm going to make you something else. I'm going to make you fishers of men. I think He called them fishers of men just for the simple fact is that you no longer your livelihood is going to change from here on out. Now you can say, well, He's talking about preachers. He's talking about ministers. I want you to understand something. There were some women we read about that followed Him that left everything. And they followed Him just like the disciples, or like we would think of the apostles. So it's not just the men. It wasn't just those that was called to be apostles. It was those that was willing to dedicate their lives to the following of Jesus. Now, if I told you I've got a roadmap, I can tell you the exact path that you need to take in your life to be successful, be happy, and to accomplish all of your hopes and dreams. And I guarantee that if you follow this map, the directions, you do the things that I tell you to do, I guarantee you that it'll work. And I even back it up with a $10 million guarantee. If you're not, I'll give you $10 million. How many of you would not take that chance? Every one of us would, wouldn't it? Well, if nothing else, some of us may have had the idea, I'm going to prove him wrong just to get my $10 million. I'm not going to be happy. It's okay. You can't do that with Jesus. He blesses us even in spite of us, you know it. When we're at a place that He wants us to be and we don't want to be there and we may complain and all these, yet He still blesses us and allows our cups to be made to run over. But I'm telling you this morning, I've got a roadmap for people to have a life that is fulfilled and satisfied. It might not be what the world considers, but I'm telling you, follow after Him and you'll be blessed. I'm talking about laying down your own wants, your own desires, your own wishes, your own ambitions, your own thoughts, your own self-made dreams and self-made proclamations. Lay it all down and let Jesus have His way. We've mentioned this before. When the Lord saved us, did we not have to do that? Did we not have to do everything? Did we not have to stop and say, Lord, I'm done. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to accomplish. And everything that I've known to do. And finally, we just give it over to Him. And what happens? It's peace, isn't it? Brother Kenneth snapped his fingers. Exactly. It's just like that. Folks, I'm telling you, you can have a bad day, and just like that, it can get better. But I'm telling you what, the more you dwell upon what's bad, the worse it's going to get. It will. You have a headache, and I don't mean this towards Sister Rona. I just thought I had when I said that. I'm sorry. I don't know why, but I see, even up here, the devil was right there with me. But if you have a headache, what's the last thing you want? All the windows open, sun shining in on you, and music so loud that they can hear it in the next county. Is that what we really would like when we have a headache? We want the lights off. We want the air cool. We want everybody just to be quiet and just let me get feeling better. Do you know the more we complain about the things in this life, we're just like someone with a headache that's got a radio just blaring at him. And what we're doing, we're the ones turning it up. Because we're not following after the Lord. Listen, here is a man. He said, when he first started in his ministry, there were some that followed him and said, Lord, let us come with thee. Let us fellowship with thee. Let us stay with thee. And he said, you can come. But he said, I'm telling you, I've got no place to lay my head. I've got no home. I've got none of these things. But if you want to come, you can come. I will show you what it is to truly be a servant of the Lord. Follow after me and I'll show you. And no doubt many of them thought, well, he said, I can rest my head tonight, a comfortable bed or a nice pillow or air conditioning. I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to go find somewhere else. But yet I'd rather be in the worst place with Jesus and than to be in a Taj Mahal with the devil. Listen, it's worth it. Follow me, he said. Listen, he didn't say follow your ambitions, follow you, follow others. Don't follow the pastor. Peter, don't you follow Andrew. Andrew, don't you follow Peter. James, don't you follow John. John, don't you follow James. You can't be me. I can't be you. You can't be no one else. You have to follow after Christ. He's the only way. When we think of true discipleship, and my friends, I'm telling you, if there's one thing that I see that's destroying our churches, is we have a lot of people that make up the bodies of the Lord's membership. And I'm not just talking about here in Mount Lebanon. I'm not trying to point anyone out. I see this everywhere. I've talked to other pastors everywhere. And it seems to be the same thing. And the reason that it's important is because it is concerning the Lord's house. But folks, we got a lot of people that want to be Christians, and yet they don't want to be a Christian. They don't want the responsibility. They want to be called a disciple, but yet they don't want to follow after Him. They like to pat on the back, oh, you're a Christian, you're a good person, you've done good, you've helped someone. You can help people all day long, but if your heart's not right, God's not going to bless it. And He'll not bless you. Many times we do things because we want people to see what we do. You know what Jesus said? He said, let the right hand forget what the left hand's doing. I made it right for me and made it wrong for y'all, didn't I? I had it right the first time. Let the right hand not know what the left hand's doing. What does He mean by that? He said, when you give your alms, do it silently. When you pray to your closet, when you do these things, don't do it to be seen of men. They have their own reward. But what you shall do in private, God shall reward thee openly. Christ never did anything for His own praise and for His own glory. There's nothing that He did. You'll not find in any of these scriptures where He done anything on behalf of Himself. He didn't need it. The rocks, the animals, the creation cried out glory unto Him. He didn't need the applause of men or the praise of men. But yet everything He did, He done it for others. Why did He leave heaven? Why did He take off His royal robe? Why did He lay down His crown? Why did He come and put on the likeness of sinful flesh and suffer? Folks, I'm telling you, I'm thankful to be alive, but I'm excited about going to heaven. I am. And I know it's selfish at times, and I shouldn't be like it. I should not desire to go to heaven to get out of this flesh. I should desire to go to heaven to be with Christ. And sometimes I'm able to be like that. But living in this world is difficult. Living in this flesh is miserable. It is. The only time that I've found true contentment is when I'm following with the Lord. That's it. That's the only time I've ever truly been happy, is where I'm where the Lord wants me to be with my heart in the condition that He wants it to be in, that I might be able to say, Lord, Thy will truly be done, and not think about what the consequences may be when He tells me. I love the old prophet. God asked him, He said, whom shall I send? Who will go for me? And he said, Lord, send me. You know, I believe Isaiah understood exactly what he was talking about. I believe he knew the consequences. When he said, send me, when he got to the point where he was willing, I believe he understood that from this day forward, my life is no longer my own, but it belongs to Him. And you know the good part of it is, He's the only one that can control it anyway. He is. Sister Tanata mentioned Drake. And as we were praying, the thought came to me. There may be some that have never told us that they've been saved, that Drake might outlive them. Before we get this service done, there may be some that we have seen on this altar time and time again. I hope we don't. But somebody maybe get a call that they're no longer with us. You see, only God knows that. God only knows your life. He only knows my life. God only. But I'm telling you, He wants us to follow after Him. Why? Because it's beneficial. I can tell you where it's going to end up. Would you like to know? All you have to do is turn to the book of Acts. Jesus lived His life here upon this earth. He died for the sins of you and I. Was buried and rose the third day. Then He spent the next 40 days with the disciples, talking with them, instructing them, continuing to teach them. And then one day there upon Galilee, what happened? As He was sitting there talking to them, now I want you to get this picture. As He was talking to them, He just began to rise. Listen, He was going about everything like he would, as if nothing was about to happen. He was doing the will that He was supposed to do, the things that He was supposed to do, telling disciples what they needed to hear. But as He was talking, He began to arise, and all of a sudden, He went through the clouds, and the disciples were standing there just looking and gazing. I could see their mouths dropped open and like, what was you going to say? You didn't finish yet. And then the angels appear and they said, "You men of Galilee, why stand you here gazing? Why do we just stand there and look?" What did He tell them to do? He said, "Go. Go. Do what He called you to do in the very beginning. Follow Him." Follow Him is all the way to the cross. Listen, when Jesus said to His disciples, "Unless you pick your cross and follow after me, you're not worthy to be a disciple." Listen, He hadn't went to the cross yet. I don't think He was talking about His physical death. Because everyone knew what that cross represented. To the Roman people and to the people that had been subdued by the Roman government, they knew what that cross meant. They knew that the offender was the one to bear it up high the mountain to the place where they would be crucified. They knew that it was agonizing. They knew everything about it. They knew what it represented, what it stood for. My friends, before He ever went to the cross, He told His disciples, you must pick up your cross. And we must. It can be embarrassing. It can be hard. There's times it can be heavy. But I'm telling you, He'll give us the strength to carry it. But you know the good news of it is we don't have to worry about being hung on it. He done that for us. We just have to take it and lay it at His feet. That's it. But He says, they said, you men of Galilee, why stand you here gazing? So many times we just stand there when our cross is right there beside of us. Let us just pick it up and go. And not just stand there gazing. Lord, when are you coming back? He's coming. They said, why stand you here gazing? This same Jesus that is ascended shall come back again in like manner. Not too many days prior to this, about a couple of months, well, not even a couple of months, about 40 days actually, 40 to 43 days compared to how you look at it, but around 43 days prior to this, He done told His disciples, He said, let not your hearts be troubled. Don't worry. That's what He's telling them. Don't let the things get you upset that get you upset. Don't let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. If you truly are a believer, you say you believe in the Father, then you believe what I'm telling you right now. Folks, it hasn't changed. He's still telling us to believe Him. If you believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. King James says mansion, but it's rooms. There are many rooms. He said, I go to prepare a place for you, that where I go, there you may be also, or when I come again, and there you may be also. He's telling His disciples, before all of this ever transpires, that He's going, He's coming back, and He's going to make sure He's got a better place for us. How many of you ever heard a song, I've got a better place to go? It's a beautiful song. Folks, I'm telling you, I've got a better place to go. And you know, if I follow Jesus where it's going to take me, right there to it. Well, you can say, Brother Reed, I'm going and I'm not even going to have to follow Him. I'm telling you right now, your heart's not right. And you'll never enjoy it. I'm fully acquainted with sins of this flesh. I know how we are. I am no different than anyone else that's ever been born. Or you're a pastor, you're a preacher. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. My flesh is just as bad as yours. I have to deal with the same things you deal with. I know how hard it is. It's difficult to stay where we need to be. 90% of the time, it's not me trying to pray that God give me the right words to say. It's 90% of the time it's me praying, God, you get me in a condition where I can hear what you want me to say and then be able to say it in the right manner. Because I let this get in the way. It's difficult. Confident that if I follow after Him, He'll take care of every bit of it. It might not be what I want to say. Might not be what I want to hear. But if He's speaking, it's good to listen. If He's leading, it's good to follow. When He stops, we stop. When He says go, we go. And we leave everything else behind it. Every bit of it. Peter, we know he was married. He had a mother-in-law that Jesus would eventually hear that had a great fever. From what history tells us, Peter never stayed with his family. He said the family either got up and moved with him or he left them and went on. You say, Brother Reed, that's harsh. God tells us we're to take care of our family. We are. And I believe that wholeheartedly. But I believe this. I believe God can do a lot more than I can. If we're where we need to be, men and women, not just old and young, follow me, He said. Peter and Andrew laid down their nets. They left their father and they went about their life following Jesus. I never find anything else in the Scriptures or in history where they ever turned back. Except for when they went fishing. Phrase that. We do find in the Scriptures they turned back, but they didn't turn back for long, did they? You see, it's worth following Him. If you've never been saved, I'm telling you, it's worth being saved. I don't care what you've got to get up. It's not worth hanging on to when it comes to your eternity. And then after we're saved, I'm telling you, this world's not worth hanging on to. Now, why should we follow Him? Why we should work? It all going to come down to when we get up there. there are songs that we sing, Stars in My Crown, Treasures in Heaven. I really do not believe that when we walk down the streets of glory and we see all these different rooms, that one person's going to have a stack of treasures higher than someone else. And we're going to look and, boy, look at this, boy, that person was a good servant of the Lord and all these things. The Bible tells us that everything that we acquire here or up there, you know what we're going to do with it? We're going to lay it at His feet. And I can't think of a better way than spending eternity than giving gifts to my Lord. You see, that's the reason we want treasures in heaven, is that we might be able to give it to one that deserves it. Because folks, even if we make it there, if we've been saved by God's grace and we live the life that He wants us to, we walk in the way that God would have us to walk, and we are just like Enoch, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we have there. I don't think the room is going to impress me. I don't think the treasures that are laid up there, if I have any, are going to impress me. I don't think none of those things are going to impress me or make me even more excited about being in heaven. There's going to be one person and only one person that's going to make heaven joyful, and that's Jesus Christ. Him and Him alone. And it's Him that we're to give our praises and our life to. Not while we're here, but when we're there. And we'll have all eternity to do it. I hope and pray that I've got just enough to maybe take a minute or two of what I consider time to give to Him. I know I ain't going to have a whole lot of them. But what I have, I want to give it to Him because He's worthy of it. Everything that I have has come from above. Every bit of it is because of Jesus. Nothing else. It's not because of my intellect. It's not because of my abilities. It's not because of my talents. It's not because of any gifts. It's all because He done it. If He gave me anything, or if I have any ability, He gave it to me. So I owe it all to Him. Adeline, thank you for playing this morning. Everybody else that God's given you a talent, use it for the Lord. He's given you ability, use it for the Lord. He's given you a voice, use it for the Lord. He's given you feet, use it for the Lord to follow Him. He's given you a mind, fill it with the goodness of God. Take the world and just throw it away. It's not worth it. It's not. There's nothing about this world that I've found to be appeasing. It is for a little bit. There's pleasure in sin. Let's not lie about it. Moses left the pleasure of sin for a season. He understood that the pleasures of this sin was for a season. There are pleasures in sin, but it's only for a little bit. You can say, Brother Reed, I've been rejoiced in church and get out there and somebody say something and boy, I just lose everything that I got. It's not because He's not big enough. It's because we're worrying about what other people say and not what He's done. Dwell upon what He's done. I can promise you things will get better. Whatever we go through in this life, thank you, Lord. Thank you. There's a reason for it. There's a purpose. He's trying us. He's proving us. Making sure we're genuine. Are we truly disciples? Or are many of us like those that turned away from Him and never come back, never followed Him no more? Well, I'm here this morning, ain't I? That doesn't mean that you're a follower of Christ. Coming to church when the doors of the church have opened, being here every time that we gather together, forsaking not the assemblies of ourselves together, that's just the first step in being a disciple. It's what we do when we're not together. That's what makes a disciple. It's how we act. That's what makes us a disciple. You said I should never be angry? No. There's a righteous anger. But we're to be angry because of sin. Not because of people. It's sin. I said this a few months ago. It's humanity that's our enemy. It's the devil. The influences of this world. But let his influence be greater. They left. In verse 20, I want to read this and we'll close. And they straightway left their nets and followed him. Straightway. They left their nets and they followed him. This is the beginning of being a disciple for the Lord. Then There's many more degrees we have found in the Scriptures. Y'all have heard this before, and I'll say this. If we could go back and ask the disciples, was it worth it? What do you think they would say? Oh, yeah. All you have to do is read about Paul, his missionary journeys, the things that he suffered. It was worth every bit of it. Men and women have been willing to lay down their lives for the faith of Christ and their faith in Him because they followed Him, literally, all the way to the grave. And who are we to think that we're any better? But I can promise you this. I've read a lot, and I don't mean this boastfully. You have Fox's Book of Martyrs. You have Martyrs' Mirrors. There's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of historical documents, people, things relating to men and women, children that gave their life. I've never read one when they were seriously in it for the Lord, ever regretted it. They died with joy. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine me being tied to a stake and fire lit around me and my body's burning and me sitting there rejoicing, singing Amazing Grace. And folks, we complain about the struggles we go through. We don't have nothing to fuss about. We have nothing to complain about. We have a lot to rejoice in because He is good. He is beautiful. He is pleasant. And truly, He is a King that is worthy. God bless you. Something on someone's heart before we change the order of the service.